With the November 5th election just around the corner, we have Sam Yebri, who is a lawyer, a community engagement activist. He is on the board of EDA and constantly doing good for our community. And he's right here today to tell us what ballot measures we should be looking at and why it's so important to get the vote out. I just don't know what more I can say because I'm just so in awe of you and all that you do. You're married to an incredible woman. You have 4 children and you're dedicating your life really to your people and to your community. Why, Sam? Why are you doing this with your time when you're such a busy attorney? How do you find the time to even do it?
I'm doing this for the same reason that you're doing this podcast, right? It's because it's important, because we have a message to share. And now more than ever, we have a responsibility to make a difference in our city, in our country, in our world. And if we're not going to do it, someone else will. And it's really important that we speak our truths and work really hard to get everyone in our world and our community to care and to make a difference. And now is the time. We can't complain later about what happens in the election. And I'm really interested on the local side. These are the things that affect our daily lives, our local elections. So one big message from today is don't sleep and don't ignore the local races on your ballot this November.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that one of the greatest privileges of being an American is the right to vote. And we all have this right to vote, and we have our ballots now at home. So what are the important races that you're looking at? What is the most important race that we should all be focused on right now?
First and foremost, public safety is on the ballot this year. And I'm not talking about the presidential, Senate. I'm talking about our district attorney and Prop 36. If you live in Los Angeles long enough, you've seen a real deterioration public safety in every way. Gun violence, retail theft, fentanyl crimes, encampment crimes. We have to do better. So first and foremost, our district attorney matters. This person is in charge of the safety issues for 10 million Angelenos. George Gascon has been our district attorney for the last 4 years, and under him we've seen a refusal to employ enhancements. He's basically retaliated against and gotten rid of line DAs who've done a good job for many decades. And the criminals have taken note, and there's a complete loss of trust in his office, and it's time for him to go. And Nathan Hochman, his opponent, comes to this opportunity with nearly 40 years of experience as a prosecutor, as a criminal defense attorney, as the president of the LA City Ethics Commission. He's endorsed by Democrats, Republicans, public safety organizations, victims groups, newspapers from across the county, Democratic mayors, and he's the right person. So Nathan Hochman must win in order for us to improve safety for all Angelenos. And connected to that is also a very important proposition called Prop 36, which reforms and fixes some of the failures of Prop 47, which was a ballot initiative from 2014 that lowered the threshold for felonies and also took away powers from judges to basically force people who had addiction issues into treatment instead of jail. And Prop 36 is so popular that 900,000 Californians signed an initiative to put it on the ballot this November, because we know that Prop 47 hasn't worked. It had some unintended consequences. So we have to elect Nathan Hochman for district attorney and pass Prop 36.
Okay, so those are your 2 top for this. Yes on 36 and Nathan Hochman. Now, there used to be a time, maybe a decade ago, when we would look to the LA Times for their endorsement list, okay? That's not the case anymore. So where is it that people can look to find endorsement lists? I mean, there are so many propositions, and it's hard to do all the research.
Yeah, that's a great point, because now that we all have a ballot, it's easier than ever to vote, but getting the information is hard. And historically, a lot of us have trusted the LA Times, or if you're a Democrat, the Democratic Party endorsement. But we've seen that those endorsements are less trustworthy because they're not putting residents first. The fact that the Democratic Party and the LA Times have endorsed George Gascon for re-election, have opposed Prop 36, support Prop 33, which will make housing really expensive and create a lot of problems for residents and renters in California, shows that they're out of touch. And I'm a lifelong Democrat. I'm proud of that. But those endorsements by the LA Times and the Democratic Party show there's a real failure on their part. So it's incumbent on all of us. It's not just a right that we have to vote. It's really a duty. And another message for today is we've all told to make a plan when to vote and how to vote, but also do your homework. Don't just walk in to the ballot box and try to figure out what a proposition means by the heading, because you'll get fooled. or look for a name or ballot designation, you have to do your homework. So I encourage everyone to really research every initiative, every candidate. And I'm actually leading a group called Thrive Los Angeles, who has spent a lot of time in a nonpartisan way to analyze the candidates who are running for local races, as well as the local, city, county, and state ballot initiatives. And we've put out a voter guide that analyzes and explains what these initiatives are and who these candidates are, and made recommendations. And our voter guide is available at thrivelosangeles.org. I encourage you to check it out. And there's an opportunity for you to learn more about what our organization does as well.
That's fantastic. What is the objective of Thrive? I mean, why was it created? What's the point of it?
The goal is to enhance the quality of life for all Angelenos by electing common sense elected officials to city and county seats. We've seen that there has been a real deterioration in our quality of life. We've seen encampments grow next to schools and parks. We've seen police officers being demonized and defunded. And in general, we've seen housing affordability get worse and worse. And it's time for new leaders to come in. And it's incumbent on the majority of Angelenos who share these basic values to vote, to speak up, and to get organized. And Thrive Los Angeles is the voice for all the Angelenos who just want a better quality of life.
I love when non-political, non-partisan people get together and really want to do good like you do, Sam. And Thrive came out of that, it sounds like, where you just care. You want your streets to be safe for your children. And right now, everybody wants to leave LA because they don't feel safe in LA. But rather than running, you're saying vote, exercise your right to vote.
Thrive LA actually did a poll in January asking Angelenos about their top issues, where they stand. And you'd be surprised. 80% of Angelenos don't want to defund the police. 80% of Angelenos do not want to see encampments next to schools and parks. And nearly 80% of Angelenos have seriously thought about leaving Los Angeles. And that's heartbreaking. For those of us who've lived here long enough, who've always imagined raising our kids and, God willing, our grandkids in Los Angeles, that is heartbreaking. And it's not going to get fixed by itself. It's not going to get fixed by electing the same old people. It's incumbent on you and I and all of us to vote, to make informed decisions, and to grab everyone we know and make sure that they vote as well.
100%. Are there any other ballot measures that we should be looking closely at? I mean, I think we'll all go to Thrive. We'll all look it up, which is great because then you can just print it, put it there, and just mark it all up before you go to the ballots or send in your absentee ballot.
Yeah. There are some significant tax and bond initiatives on the ballot as well. For example, Measure A, which is a permanent half-cent sales tax for homeless services. We all want to help the folks who are homeless. Measure H, Triple H, but it's not working. And it's not a resource problem. Our homelessness crisis is not about a failure to spend enough money. It's about how we spend our money, whether the folks who need treatment get the treatment they need, whether we're building housing fast enough, cheap enough, in the right places. And this half-cent billion-dollar tax every year in perpetuity with no sunset clause, no transparency, no accountability is doubling or tripling down on failure. So we Thrive LA opposes Measure A. There are other taxes as well. There's a LAUSD bond tax. There's a one statewide as well for schools. There's one for parks. So we should all look really carefully about where we want our dollars to go and how it's going to be spent. And then I also think that all of us should be focusing on the judicial races. The judges have an incredible impact on criminal justice, on safety issues, and how our laws are enforced. And there's a real movement to elect ideologues and not people who are well qualified to be judges. So we make some recommendations in our voter guide that are important. And local races in smaller cities are also on the ballot. Santa Monica, West Hollywood. There's school board races, LAUSD, Beverly Hills, all throughout the county as well, more broadly. And we encourage everyone to vote. It's incredibly important to vote in these local races because a few votes can make a big difference.
Yeah, they can. Sam, do me a favor. Will you just look at that camera there? And if you were to say one thing to all the voters out there today that's of importance, what would it be?
The most important votes that you're going to cast this November are the local elections that will affect your safety and your family's safety. So it's imperative that you do your homework, make a plan to vote, and vote for safety this November.
Sam, yeah, but you really are an inspiration. Thank you for leading this community. Thank you for inspiring us all and for taking time away from your family and your wife and your children to do what's right. Because right now we're at a crossroads and it's people like you who really do impact and make all the difference. So we're very grateful to you.
Thank you. This has really been a pleasure. Thank you for everything you're doing, giving a voice to people who care about our city and highlighting really important issues. It's incredibly urgent and timely, and thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. We got to take back. We love it. We're Angelinas.
Yes.
We got to take our city
Love the
back.
city.
And we get to do it November 5th, everybody. Get out the vote. Look up Thrive. Follow Sam if you don't. He's got great information that he's always posting. And together, we can get back our city, guys. Just get out the vote. We'll see you next time right here on Moms Matter.